How to Create a Compelling and Creative Portrait Work of Art Project by Jamie Morris. As a mom of two, and in about 3 weeks, will be 3 kids, I absolutely love taking pictures of my little ones. I have thousands upon thousands of pictures of them, and every day the amount of pictures that I have continues to grow and grow. I have always had a passion for taking pictures of people, places, and things, and a few years back I decided to splurge and buy myself a professional camera. Though I have yet to learn about all the functions and capabilities of this camera, I still get compliments all the time on how well I take pictures. However, other people's vision on how well I take pictures is not the same vision that I have. To me, the pictures that I take are simply just that, pictures. They are very meaningful and compelling to myself, but to most people, they would not be significant at all. I am completely obsessed with looking at professional photographers' pictures, especially of family and urban photography. When I come across a photographer whose style of photography is of interest to me, I can't help but to get carried away by the story that the pictures are telling. Though I don't know the people who are in the pictures, I'm very compelled to create their story in my mind. Over the last 2 years, I have had family pictures professionally taken on many of occasions by a photographer named Sarah. Sarah is a professional photographer whose photography is beyond compelling and inspiring to me. I have peeked over her shoulders many times when she was taking pictures of my family and thought that the pictures she was taking were nothing really special, only to see the finished product and thinking that what she created was pure art and thinking that she is one amazing photographer and artist. Because photography has become something that I have developed a greater interest in, I decided to pick Sarah's brain to learn how to go about making my pictures more creative and more compelling. I quickly learned that pictures and portraits, this can be family portraits, urban, or what have you, are 2 totally different things. Pictures are simply moments that are captured. I said before that I have thousands upon thousands of pictures that I have taken over the years. How many times do I actually go back and look at them though? Not very often. I may go back and look at a specific picture or 2, but rarely, if ever, will you find me looking through all of the pictures. That would actually bore me to death, and I love my family to death. Portraits, however, capture the subject's personality, while at the same time, they tell a story. The best way to do this is to catch people off guard when taking their picture. By catching people off guard, you're more apt to capture their true personality. Looking back at my absolute favorite pictures that I have taken, including this one that you're looking at right now, just about all the pictures that are my favorites were taken at the spur of the moment or when the subject wasn't paying attention. Another great way to create a compelling portrait is to choose a location to shoot the portrait where the surroundings reflect the subject's personality. Talking with Sarah, I quickly learned that the traditional studio sessions are becoming more and more obsolete. If you are going to have a session in a studio, you should use the room itself as the studio. Neutral colored walls and brightly colored furniture are great for shooting portraits. It's becoming more and more popular, however, to shoot portraits outside. Pictures taken on a location can really allow for the subject's personality to shine through. Whatever location you choose for your portrait, always remember that the main focus of your photo is the person, not the place. Keep the background free from all distractions. Another reason why it's becoming more and more popular to shoot portraits outside is because of the natural light shooting outside provides. Sometimes shadows or lighting may become a problem when taking portraits. You can use a reflector or a large piece of white card or paper positioned on the other side of the subject to help fill in the shadows. Sarah also told me that you should never rely on your camera's built-in flash, but when shooting outside, you can complement your light setup with your camera's flash to highlight the subject's eyes. This can bring real life to your portrait photo. If your flash is too strong, you can also try covering it with some tissue or thin paper to produce a softer effect. Sarah reminded me to use natural light whenever possible, even when shooting inside. Open up your blinds and windows and even move furniture around so that you can use as much natural light as possible. After listening to Sarah teach me about the various techniques that she used to take a compelling portrait, I said to her, "This seems beyond easy," but thought to myself, there has to be more to it or everyone would be able to easily take a compelling portrait. Sarah chuckled and told me that this is the easy part, but there is another part that takes a bit more training and practice to learn. The editing of the portrait. Editing makes the portrait that you take stand out. It allows you to add your own personal touch, creativity, and compellingness to the portrait that you took. Here is an example of a portrait that Sarah took using all the forms of lighting, location, and so on as we've discussed so far. Sarah said that she uses Photoshop to do all of her editing. She starts with a picture like this, which is absolutely beautiful to me as it is. But for this image, her main focus was the temperature and tint. She really wanted to make her subject stand out and the colors pop. One issue that she said she had with this original portrait was that the reflection from the red in her subject's shirt can be seen in her earring. This is something that I would have never noticed, but she, as a professional, did. I was shown a few features in Photoshop, but there were a few that really stood out. Sarah started with going into the category levels in Photoshop, and she said that she simply moved the black slider to 5 so that she didn't use too much detail in the shadowing. She then went into the curve section and increased the mid-tones and decreased the shadows a bit. She said this was a critical part for her as an artist because just the tiniest adjustment in the wrong direction can cause you to overexpose the picture that you took. Using the Unsharp Mask tool, Sarah softened the light layer and then softened the skin of the subject. She then reduced any wrinkles and blemishes on the subject's face, not making too many unnatural changes. This is also where she reduced the earring reflection that we talked about earlier. Here's the original portrait again that we looked at before. And not to my surprise, amazingly enough, here is the edited and much more compelling portrait. I was blown away. Editing made a huge difference. As I mentioned before, I love to take pictures. I have hundreds upon thousands of pictures stored on my computer and on discs, and very few what I consider to be compelling. They're all meaningful to me because they tell stories about my life, but they would mean nothing to any of you as you don't know me. It's the quality, not the quantity of the pictures that you take that are most important. I'm looking forward to taking my love of photography a step forward as I plan on signing up for a photography and photo editing course this summer so that I can put my new fancy camera to proper use and learn for myself how to edit pictures so that I too can tell stories with my compelling works of art.